Mongraal. Everyone loves him from his viral clips.
Hey, GG's, bro!
And for being one of the best competitors in Fortnite.
Let's go, that kid only had an AR.
And recently, he has just returned to the game for the first time in almost a year. So today, let's take a look back to see exactly how he got here. Mongraal was always a big gamer as a kid, playing games like Halo and Call of Duty at a very young age. And eventually, a new type of game was starting to take over, Battle Royales. So it was here where he started to play games like PUBG and H1Z1. And eventually, he would have his first ever live stream in January of 2018, playing H1Z1. But little did he know, he was about to be one of the fastest growing streamers in gaming history that year. And just a few weeks later, he would stream the game that would change his life forever for the first time, Fortnite. Now, even though this would be an insane year for him, it didn't start off that way. Mongraal would continue to stream with him playing Fortnite very consistently for a few months, only averaging a few viewers. But during this time, he was starting to increase his skills in the game, most notably at building. And not long after, he was one of the first people to show that building is an extremely useful mechanic. But it wouldn't be until April where everything would change for him. He would get picked up by esports organization Team Secret at just the age of 13. And because of how young he was, he would actually end up having a news segment about him on the BBC.
Kyle Jackson is so good at Fortnite that he's been signed to play with a team of professional gamers.
After being shot into the mainstream, Mongraal would go from averaging 10 viewers at the beginning of April to just 1 month later averaging over 300. And this was just the beginning. For the rest of the year, Mongraal would continue to grind the streams, showing off why he is one of the best players in the entire game. And at the end of the year, he was now averaging 8,000 viewers per stream and achieving almost 500,000 followers on Twitch. But little did he know, in 2019, he would have an even better year, with most of his iconic clips coming from then.
Oh, what? Controller player! That is a controller player! Off! What the f*** is Thanos in the air? Sing, 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 sing!
Now, throughout this time, there were many players like Mongraal who were extremely good, but unfortunately weren't able to compete in any epic official tournaments because of the minimum age requirement, which was 18. However, early in that year, Epic would announce online tournaments for the first time, and with that, they decided to lower the age requirement to now be 13. So it was finally time for Mongraal to really prove himself. But unfortunately, he wouldn't do the best in the first couple of tournaments, not making any money, until he broke that streak by winning the Lux Cup. And right afterwards, Epic would announce the biggest tournament in further and further away from making it to the finals. Until in the very last week of solos, in his last game, he would pull off one of the most insane clutches in Fortnite history.
I don't think so. The drop in gets the shot off and gets the elimination. Mongraal literally putting on a clinic of why you need to pay attention.
What
What's
is
going
this?
on?
Everybody,
Are you kidding?
Just bad. He's gonna launch that off. Oh my goodness! Are you serious? 13 eliminations. There's still 4 players left, including him. Add it down. No way. Are you doing this right now, Mongraal? Now reloading double RPG as well. Zooer's gonna go down in another one. Mongraal, are you kidding me?
With that insane win, he would end up placing 5th, making it to both the solo and duo finals. And since he was now one of the biggest names in Fortnite, he would end up getting signed to the biggest org in esports, FaZe, to represent them at the World Cup. And in the finals, he would prove why he deserved to be there.
We have some great players still left in this game, but Mongraal with 4 eliminations is looking for number 5.
But he's still in the game here. He's gonna go all the way for it, and that's the trade with the 109 to the face here.
Top 4 players now. Mongraal in the ultimate low ground, going up against a player. It's gotta be Booga, the game 1 winner. This is a lot of HP. No more build, but the victory royale.
Mongraal would place 6th in the duo finals and 13th in solos, making him the most consistent player to compete in both events. Also taking home a light $375,000. After this insane performance, he wanted to continue to prove why he is one of the greatest, and luckily for him, the first FNCS was coming up. However, it was trios, so him and Mitro needed to find one more. And in the end, they would decide to pick up Benji Fish. Grand Finals, the last hurdle to declare them as the best, but unfortunately they would end up running into some mech issues.
What? It's invisible! The mecha is invisible for me!
And in the end, they would sadly finish solo FNCS Invitationals, where he did make the grands and end up placing 26th. But at this point, all he really wanted to do was win an FNCS. But unfortunately, going into next season's solo FNCS, he would end up placing 16th in the grand finals. Still really good, but just not that win like he wanted. But it would be in season 4 where he would finally get that placement he had been striving for. FNCS was now back to trios, and Mongraal would decide to get back together with Mitro. Now, since his team was extremely good at fighting, they needed somebody to IGL them and make the calls. So to fill in the third slot, they would pick up Tayson, who had just won that solo FNCS the season prior. But this team had one pretty big problem. They were very dysfunctional.
Bro, Tayson, we're not hearing many comms from the little IGL dude.
I don't know what's going on. What are you guys doing, man?
What are you doing? I need some comms though.
Now, even though Mitro and Mongraal did a bit of trolling, they would play extremely well throughout the qualifiers, making it to Grands, where they would end up getting the best drop on the map, Stark Industries Uncontested. Going into this Grands, Mongraal was looking like the best he has ever been. So now, there was only one way for him to prove it. That's by taking home the crown.
Not one! Mate, dead, let's go! Man! Dead! Nice. Let's fucking go!
After the first day, they found themselves in first place, with a pretty good lead on second. But going into day 2, things would start to take a dark turn. The very first game of the day, they would come out with a win, increasing their lead even more. However, Thomas HD, Anos, and Flick would end up contesting them for the remainder of the games, leading them to have a very poor performance. So now, going into the last game, they still had the lead, but there was just one team that could overtake them, and that was Janice, Andalex, and Xweezy. So in an attempt to stop them, they decided to drop at their POI in the last game. But nothing would come out of it with them disengaging. However, they were able to steal some of their loot. But because of this decision, they would end up being extremely shambles going into the endgame, so they would end up going down in 22nd. So now at this point, all they needed to do was pray that second place didn't have a good game.
One more post. Somebody in his box. He finds the box. Siberian Jake could be the gift that he needs. The damage still coming through. 43, 10 HP, and he's down.
And second would go down in 14th, getting Mongraal his first ever FNCS win. And he would end up being live this entire time, gaining an average viewership of over 90,000, which is insane to talk about. But unfortunately, this would be the last time he would ever make an FNCS Grand Finals. To start, Tayson would end up leaving them right after winning because he felt like they just weren't taking the tournaments too seriously. And afterwards, Mongraal would go on to not even make the heats in FNCS during the next 2 seasons following his win. And in season 7 and 8, he would make the heats, but unfortunately again, not make Grand Finals. But there was a chance for him to break this curse. We were now heading into chapter 3, where the game mode would switch once again to duos, so obviously he decided to pick up Mitro going into FNCS. But this time, they would end up having their worst performance in FNCS yet. And sadly, this would end up being the last FNCS he will probably ever play. It seemed like at this point, he was just starting to lose passion for the game. And after not placing well in tournaments, it just made him lose even more passion. And this was made even more obvious when he would end up streaming Valorant for a few months straight in early 2022, barely touching Fortnite. However, it was also around now where he started to get more into fitness and working on himself. Because of all these factors combined, we would see him take the longest break from streaming he's ever had since starting, only going live a handful of times throughout a period of 5 months. But we would see him return in November to play the game again, and he would continue the stream grind after that big break, going live almost every day until the end of the year. But in 2023, the streams would begin to stop, with him only streaming 17 hours in the first 6 months of the year. So at this point, it was looking like Mongraal wouldn't be returning to content creation anytime soon. He had simply moved on and grown up, having different goals in life now. But in August, he would make an unexpected return after 7 months of silence on his YouTube. It wasn't Fortnite like everyone hoped, but actually a vlog, showing off how he lived his life now. And during the video, he would express how he had a new passion for traveling the world and wanted to start doing IRL vlogs sharing his experience. But after that video, he would only post 2 more before going silent again for over 2 months. Until Fortnite made the biggest announcement in the game's history. We were officially returning to the OG Chapter 1 Fortnite map. And with that, Mongraal would tweet out his return. With everyone already excited with this new season release, this made everything even better. And so far, it looks like Mongraal is back to grinding the streams again, with him putting in 5 12+ hour streams in a row at the time of this recording. But most importantly, it seems like he is genuinely enjoying the game again and having fun. And we would also see him return to playing tournaments again for the first time in almost an entire year. Now, even though he didn't do too well in the tournaments, it seems like he will continue to grind the game for the rest of this season. But it is still unclear what he will do after the season's over and we head into Chapter 5. But nonetheless, it is very nice to see him return and play the game again. My guess is he'll eventually leave again and hopefully follow through on those travel vlogs he talked about. But overall, Mongraal has had one of the most incredible careers, from blowing up in popularity at the age of 13 to now over 6 years later, it seems like he's enjoying the success of his hard work. But no matter what Mongraal decides to do with the rest of his life, one thing is for certain, he will forever be known as one of the GOATs of Fortnite. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out that video that YouTube's suggesting to you right now. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your days. Peace out.